What's up guys, welcome back to another episode and thank you so much for tuning in to watch this video. I really appreciate. So there is this video of the New Zealand parliament that is going viral on TikTok. The New Zealand's parliament was briefly suspended on Thursday after the Maori's member of parliament staged Haka to disrupt the vote on the contentious bill that was going to reinterpret a 184-year-old treaty that was signed between the British and the indigenous Maori. It was led by a very young woman. She's a member of parliament in New Zealand. She's called HANA RAWHITI. I'm sorry if I pronounced the second name wrong. The woman was so bold, and the way she was conducting that Haka, it caught the attention of so many people, and there are various reactions on it, especially people from America reacted because it's just the other week that they had their national election. So I came up with a compilation from TikTok to show you how people reacted about the Maori's Haka. I think I've pronounced it well, because in my life I've never seen such kind of thing. Like whenever I watch it, I feel like I'm tearing up. It got me so emotional because the boldness in that woman is just amazing.
This is how you disagree in a parliament. These are the Maori representatives in the New Zealand's parliament who are angry at how the founding treaty of Waitangi is interpreted. This treaty, signed in 1840 by over 500 Maori chiefs and British colonizers, was meant to create a shared governance framework of New Zealand while protecting the Maori land and rights. But over time, differences in translation between the English and Maori text, as well as historical grievances and cultural differences, required the development of guiding principles. And this is why understanding of cross-cultural communications is so important. The Maori are a fascinating group of people who arrived over 1,000 years ago from Polynesia to New Zealand. Today they make up about 15% of the New Zealand's population, and their customs and communications are really deeply woven into their nation's identity. They're quite different from white New Zealanders, and you've probably seen the Maori Hakas before. However, the treaty's terms were so poorly translated and understood but differently by a lot of different Maoris and the British, which led to a lot of misunderstandings and conflicts. Following the treaty, many Maori lands were confiscated, acquired through unfair means, and the Maori faced significant cultural, economic, social changes under the British rule. The Maori population, which once thrived, sharply declined due to diseases introduced by Europeans, warfare and land loss, and causing severe impacts on the traditional way. But they kept on fighting, and they kept their culture alive. And their culture is so rich, proud, and deeply rooted in values like respect, community, and spiritual connection to the land. And when we talk about communication with Maori, we're talking about something quite unique in the world. It's not just about words, but it's also about symbolism, like these guys here. The body language, even, yes, disagreement, because disagreement in their culture is really natural, and it's even encouraged. The people from Maori lands have a special way of disagreeing that doesn't always involve direct confrontation, but rather open, respectful dialogue where both sides express their views freely, and they believe that healthy disagreement strengthens community ties by allowing so many voices to be heard. And I really like that about the Maoris. And one of the most powerful symbols of Maori culture is the Haka. But the Haka isn't a dance or a battle cry. It's a deeply meaningful ritual. The Haka represents strength, unity, and a connection to their ancestors and culture. Traditionally, it was performed by warriors before battle, and they were meant to energize and intimidate opponents. But when Maori warriors stick their tongue out during the Haka, it's called the vero, a symbolic gesture meant to challenge their opponents and show their fearlessness. The extended tongue represents defiance and strength and a way of saying, I'm here, I'm not afraid, I'm grounded in my power and my culture. It's Maori, it's a visual assertion of mana, or spiritual strength and respect for their ancestors. And understanding this culture means understanding the strength in their communication. That's where I'm fascinated about. From their respect-filled approach to disagreement to powerful Haka that expresses identity, pride, and connection, the Maori remind me of communication is not only about talking, it's about embodying who you are. Now, if we place these groups into my cultural archetypes, Maori culture fits within the reflective and tradition root archetypes. They're really deeply relational, placing a high value on community, shared history, and respect for lineage. They are also quite reflective people, which means they use storytelling and proverbs to pass wisdom and tradition and culture. And they really prioritize ancestral knowledge, rituals, and strong ties to the land and each other. However, mainstream white New Zealand's, the Kiwis, culture aligns more with hybrids archetypes. They're really adaptive, embracing new ideas and solutions with a pragmatic approach. They're known for the number 8 wire mentality, meaning they're resourceful and inventive. Additionally, they are dynamic, yet really expressive in a subdued way, with a communication style that balances friendliness and understatement. And I really like the New Zealanders, the Maoris and the Kiwis, and I like the way they communicate, and I'm really fascinated by this island, and I can't wait to visit it.
I don't know if this is anybody else, but I don't understand why me, as a Black American woman, why I cry real tears every single time I see the Haka performed. I watched like 7 videos today of the protest, the people doing the Haka in protest. I've cried at every single one. Actual real tears. Why? Why does that happen?
All eyes are on New Zealand today, as we were all in our fields over the Haka that was performed in Parliament. Although I live in America and have always lived in America, I was born in New Zealand, so I have dual citizenship, and I am so shocked and disgusted to see the same things happening there in Aotearoa as is happening in America. After the election, we received so much support from women around the world standing in solidarity with us, sending support and sending love. I think it's time to pay that forward to our sisters in New Zealand. So this Pakeha wants to offer all of the support and all of the love, and just let you know that we're rooting for you, we're supporting you, you're doing the right thing, keep it up, stay loud, and we will find our way through all of this mess together.
I love you, Maori folk, for real. I don't know if I said that correctly. I love you guys, for real, every single time. Man, you guys are amazing. That's all I have to say.
Hear me out. I'm a mixed race Black woman, but every time I see Maori people doing a Haka dance, I absolutely tear up and lose my mind. I just saw this video where there's this Maori tribe that is going against Parliament, and they're doing this vote, and they just keep getting silenced and aren't being heard, and they break out into Haka right there in the middle of Parliament, and it's beautiful. It is so amazing to watch. I saw it in person one time at someone's college graduation. I went to one of my friends' college, and they had a classmate that they were Maori and their family did the Haka ceremonial exchange, and it was so beautiful. That and like singing videos, I don't know what happens to me. I go feral. Like, there's just something so amazing to me about being that connected in your culture. There's just nothing like it. I think I appreciate it so much more because there's such a detachment from like African American people and their African culture, just because, you know, slave trade, but we don't get to experience, we don't grow up with that. And so a lot of our traditions are lost. The last names are the last names of slave owners, and a part of our identity is missing. And then the white side of my family is pretty much German and French, and some British sprinkled in, but there's a disconnect there too, because once the greats die off, then no one is continuing any traditions. And let's be real, like, there's not really, at least in my family, there's not a lot of traditions that I would have wanted to carry down. I don't know. I just think it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know why I started crying, but I saw that whole HANA thing with the Haka thing in the New Zealand Parliament. Oh my God. I have no idea why that touched my soul so hard, but I got shivers and then I started crying and I was just like, oh my God. Like, this is what America needs, y'all. Like, this is what we need. We need to come together. We need to explore our culture, our ancestors, and really tear down this fuck-ass government that we have. Like, it's crazy. Like, these fucking... y'all. It's really that time, y'all. It just really is that time. And just seeing how powerful that was and how that made me feel, I just know that this world is getting the cleansing that it needs. It really is. Shouts out to Hannah, because that was crazy, but so powerful.
If you're a black person and you watch that video of the Maori woman do what clearly is a protest, I don't know what she said, but she tore that paper up for real. I want to share with you why I think we tear up when we hear Haka, when we see Haka. I think the Maori people still have direct connection to the power of their people in the way that our ancestors intend for us to have. I'm going to play the clip at the end, but I want you to pay attention. When that first woman gets up and she tears the paper, immediately the woman in front of her is activated. You can see the look on her face change immediately. Then you're going to see the woman who's next to her, who's a bit older, is beaming proud at watching her people, the younger generation, stand up for something. Again, I don't know what language they speak, or rather, I don't understand the language. This is my interpretation. Third, immediately community. People get up and join her immediately. They don't ask no questions. They're not taking notes. They're not asking permission. They're not arguing about a woman leading. This what we doing? Bet. Lastly, what you will hopefully also notice is there are quite a few people that are in the chambers that are not Maori that stand up on their feet out of a show for respect. There's just so much to learn in that one clip. So much to appreciate. I think the Maori people remind me that they didn't get us all. They didn't get us all. Y'all tell me what you think.
If 6 votes opposed.
Our ancestors are still here. They're still with us. They're moving through us. They never left us. I know it's hard. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, wow, how did y'all do it? Because they love the future generations enough to continue. They loved us, y'all. They loved us enough to fight for us. And to see them show up again in that way is beautiful for them. It's beautiful. And the ancestors are going to show up for us, you guys. Believe that. They already are. They're here. I've been really angry these past few weeks. And I really needed to see that, because that moved me in a way, and it just reassured me that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. I can take my cape off. Like, be valid in your anger, because anger is an emotion. And one of the tactics of white supremacy is to invalidate that anger and to basically point the finger back at the person who is expressing that anger as someone who is spreading negativity. But I mean, it's been a week. What do you expect? These feelings are valid, and while sometimes anger can be misdirected, it's better to be expressed than to be repressed. So, if you're called to advocate, advocate. If you're called to support, support. If you're called to cry, cry. Whatever it is, just do it. Honestly. Because afterwards we heal. We heal.
Everything Hannah Rawhiti Clark just did in Parliament, in New Zealand, the Haka, everything she just did is more than the Haka. The ancestors came through. That she is an example of what is to come here on this plane, in this world. This signifies the rise of the matriarchy, the rise of the divine feminine, the fall of the patriarchy, the fall of the system, the fall of the government. This signifies so much, and it is what so many people needed to see at this time. What does that strike in you? Because I know for me, it makes me not feel like I can just sit around and be complicit. And even more so that I can't just be posting TikTok, that I have to do even more than that. And I should have been doing more. We all should have been. It takes time for people to wake up, but come on, guys, like, we cannot be complicit in this anymore. That's a great example of what's to come, and a great example of these people who in their territory, they're indigenous. That is their land, right? Just as the Native Americans, this is their land. This is the land of the indigenous peoples that whoever's these people are took the land, whoever they really are, behind all the corruption, behind these elites, right? Those people in New Zealand, the Maori people, they have a lot of control there still. It's not like that in other places, right? So the whole reason this happened, you guys already know probably why it happened. They're trying to get at them, right? We're here in the United States. We're scared to do anything because we don't either want to take the risk. We don't want to be unalived. We don't want to take that risk, right? Because there's not enough people doing it. We've been complacent here too long. Look how they've treated the different races and groups of people here. We don't want to go to jail. We don't want to do this and that, right? It has to start somewhere. It has to start through the voice. Look what she just did. Through the voice. They try to suppress our voices, guys. Through the voice. They programmed us and conditioned us so deep that it's absolutely traumatizing that we can't even fathom how traumatizing it actually is. It is gross what they are doing to us and have been doing to us. The shipping containers are just coming out now. It's been going on for years, and people are finally seeing it. Great. It's been going on. We need to actually attribute things and go in and integrate ourselves into this system so that we can break the system from the inside out. It's time to get on that train. It's been time.
You know what? I think this is the best way that people should be disagreeing in the parliament. I thought Julius Malema from South Africa was bold until I watched this young woman from New Zealand. The courage that she had and the boldness that she brought out, it was just hilarious. I know people disagree to agree in parliament, but I think that's the best way to do it because most of the parliaments are rotten. I'm sorry if I say that wrong, but most of the parliaments are rotten and people are doing whatever they want. So this young woman just reformed up the bill because they didn't want to pass it on since it was going to reinterpret the treaty that was signed earlier by the British and the indigenous Maori people. And Americans are saying that they don't know why this thing is just coming up when they had election just the other week. It's just amazing. They are saying that if this can happen in America, then they can live happily in their country. But the biggest question is who will do it in America? I know there are people who can do it, but that fear in them, you know. And if also women can just reunite in the whole world, be it black women, be it people of color, be it white women, then we can do amazing things in this world, and our rights can be heard. I'm so moved by how that young woman performed the haka. I really don't know what this haka is. I was trying to do my own research, then I saw it's kind of a ceremonial dance in the New Zealand, and when it is performed it gets people so emotional, meaning that our ancestors are still with us, they've never left us, and they're on the watch watching whatever we are doing each and every day. That's why most of the people are getting so emotional or tearing up when watching the Haka performance in the New Zealand Parliament. And my For You page was just full of Haka, Haka, Haka. So that's why I decided to share with you this video so that you can also see it. I don't want to see it alone. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your opinions about the Haka. Have you ever seen the Haka performance before, or is your first time to see it? Let me know. So thank you so much. Until next time, it's a goodbye for now.